and sing, shall we? Unity of Tampa, good morning. We call this song Come On In. Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you've been through. Where the Father waits with open arms, He's calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved to belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in, yeah, come on in. You'll find a place of rest and illumination, where God within you helps you to light the way. He knows the peace you need and the hurt you're feeling. He longs to hold you and to wipe your tears away. Where the doors are locked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved to belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. With this room and love, in this home of love, for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved to belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved to belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. Unity of Tampa, come on in. All right. Happy Sunday, and thank you so much for singing that with us, man. That's all right. That feels pretty good. Piper, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Just realized this has been on while I've... So I hope you guys didn't hear
along,
me.
Hopefully.
Hopefully not. Well, good morning, guys. Good morning. People keep on telling me I look more and more natural on stage every week, so yes. I feel good. Yes, all my loyal fans. Okay, well, today we are working on something for Father's Day next week, so it should be fun. Okay, my own path. I love my mother. It must have been the most difficult part of mothering, knowing the outcome, yet feeling she had no right to keep me from charting my own path. Never once having said, I told you so. When I was a child, the hallway just outside my own room might have seemed a scary path at night, and my first day of school was an adventure into the unknown. Those are just two of many paths that at first made me feel unsure about myself and where I was going. But in time, they become familiar and friendly ways for me. When it's time for life after high school, I will step onto a whole new path and accept new responsibilities for myself. It's my own path leading me to my future. I might blaze my own trail, not following in the footsteps of my parents or siblings by attending the same college or pursuing the same interests. I appreciate those who support me in following the call of spirit within me to be myself, and I honor that call by choosing my own path, the one on which I express those sacred qualities that God has given me to express. And I am creative. I paint my own reality.
Thank you, Piper. Let's sing the kids out, shall we? I am walking in the light, in the light, in the light. I am walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Dwight Wells, and I'm the platform assistant this morning, and I'll try to mostly get off the stage without falling. It's one of those things my wife tries to teach me at home by creating obstacles around the house, and so far she's done a pretty good job. So anyway, and to all those people, I've got you laughing. That's a good sign. All those, yeah, right. Well, you can laugh with me and at me. And anyway, all those people out there in Radio Land and all other media that are, it shows you how old I am. Listening to this beautiful service on different kinds of media, welcome. We love you and we appreciate you. We appreciate your support for our church. And just check in on social media and you'll find out everything is going on. Our church is growing. It's growing both in people attending here and it's growing in terms of people, just growing everywhere. So, let's see, what else? I'm not sure. We didn't get any birthdays. Do we have any birthdays in the audience here? Very unusual. Whoop. All right. Well, happy birthday. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
In plain sight.
That's why when I was doing the kind of work I was doing in the law, I never told Joanne any of the things that she wasn't going to tell somebody else kind of thing because it never worked. So anyway, we got... Okay, yes, are there any new people here? Would you... yes, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes. We have some flowers for you, and we also have a gift for you back at the table, a T-shirt you can pick up on your way out. We hope that you'll find the service illuminating and come back and join us again. It's exciting to be with the church at the time we are because we're growing and we're having fun doing it, and that's a lot to do with our wonderful leader. So, yeah, but that didn't work, so I've got to be nice to you again. Yes.
Why don't we sing happy birthday to Dwight and all these June babies, shall we? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God loves you. Happy birthday to you. All right. Thank you, Dwight.
Round of applause for Dwight. Peter, you can sit with your wife. It's allowed. You can just pull a chair up there. Okay, you're going to haunt her behind her? Good morning, everybody. Nice to see everyone. How are we? Did we have a good week? Yes? Are we practicing what we learned? I know, right? Okay, so here's my dilemma. I'm from Colorado. So, and next week I'm not here because I'm actually meeting my Colorado family in Michigan. So we are going to have to divide and conquer for a couple days. You're actually from Michigan. Well, I'm from Michigan, but I spent as much time in Colorado as I did in Michigan. Yeah. I still may root for the Avalanche one night and, at least show my spirit. Now, we're lucky here in Tampa. We have a lot of winning teams. That's a pretty great thing. All right, Janice, thank you for being our board angel on duty. And I want to thank Jeffrey Beach for standing in for Michael Williams and working in the kitchen and everything else he does here. Thank you. And in case, did everybody notice the new panels outside when you walked up? So right behind the plants, we have two big, beautiful, like iron-looking, I'm sure they're not iron, they're metal, but they're decoratives. Jeffrey and I bought those because Louise found them. So we bought them, and those two guys, Luis and Jeffrey, hung them for us this week. And they look really nice, so thank you guys for that. They're not lit up well enough for me to see. You know, Bobby, that's the problem. You're always wanting more light. But the light is within, sir. All right, let's say our unity affirmation together and kick our morning off in a spiritual way. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And today's daily word is to pray for others. So that would be today's daily words, pray for others. In love and faith, I pray with you. I am honored to pray with others, and I am grateful when others support me in prayer. When praying hearts and minds are joined, the power of prayer is multiplied. My partners in prayer may be in the same room or far away. We may be close friends or we may be strangers. But the power of prayer transcends what mere words can express. So we need not even speak the same language. We share the heart's language of love and faith. Although the appearance of sickness, a perception of lack or insufficiency, or interpersonal discord may have prompted us to pray, we set those concerns aside as we say yes to wholeness, abundance, and harmonizing love that are blessings in our lives and in every life. And from Matthew, again, truly I tell you, if two of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. It's a lovely message. All right, I am going to step aside because it isn't up to me, it's up to me.
It's up to me and you and you and you and you and you. And we're going to stand and sing it together, shall we? All right, so we did this one last week. We're learning this song this month. It's going to sound a little different today with Alvon. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. If it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I seek the truth, let me speak the truth. If I'm lost in doubt, let me believe. I know I can be the change I want to see. And if it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I'm tired and stressed, let me stop and rest. If I'm feeling hurt, let me forgive. I know I can be the change I want to see. And if it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I dream of peace, let me be the peace. When I start from love, I am love. I know I can be the change I want to see. And if it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. You know it's up to me. You know it's up to me. If it's to me. Thanks, guys. So I know we haven't heard this one a lot, but we're learning it together, shall we? Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Always feel free to leave us a little bit of feedback on this music. Let us know what you like.
Or not.
Or not, or what you don't. You know.
Alvin, I have to say, the song has a whole different feel with you present, so it's nice to have you back. Yeah. Well, no, we're a little more timid as singers when you're not with the beat. The song is like softer, right, in our heads. So we're like, if it's up to be, right? And when you're here, we're like, if it's to be. It's like a whole new experience. Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, don't act shy. Jeez. All right, I've got two good news stories. The first one, Coley, thank you. This is a 31-year-old man. I love this story. You will too. So his name is Chris Salvatore. He moves into an apartment complex, and he looks through the kitchen window, and he sees this 89-year-old woman that he waves to all the time. So he comes to find out that she has leukemia, and he starts paying her regular visits to chat, play board games, and cook, and sip champagne with her because it was her favorite thing to do. So Norma is her name. She was suffering, living alone, had no friends, no family, only a cat. And as her leukemia progressed, he invited her to live with him so he could care for her in her final days. He also established a GoFundMe page for her and raised $77,000 so he could pay all her bills, her medical bills. She passed away peacefully with him by her side, the only person. And her last words to her caring neighbor were, "I love you." Is that special? Yeah, some of these stories just remind us of how great the world really is, right? So here's another story. Jeffrey found this one. So this is a new off-Broadway play called I, Americano. And it begins with a true story, one of the most painful moments from Tony Valdivino's youth. The day he decided to join the Marines at his Arizona high school, but ended up learning that he was an undocumented immigrant for the first time in his history. Determined to return to the recruiter with his documentation in hand, he still remembers the moment that his mom just started to break down and cry. He said her whole demeanor changed, her energy changed, her shoulders changed, and she told me the truth. He was born in Calama, Mexico, brought to the United States when he was 2 years old. Before his mom's revelation, the day he tried to join the Marines, he says he had no idea he was an undocumented person. He learned he's what they call a dreamer, undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. Everything changed for him that day. The future he had dreamed of evaporated in an instant. His life took several turns he wasn't expecting, and that's where I, Americano comes in. The musical goes on to portray his discovery of a new mission as a political organizer and eventually the founder of his own political consulting company, which actually landed him a job running the campaign for Ruben Gallegos, who is now a Democratic Arizona congressman and also, by the way, a Marine veteran. So even though he didn't get to be in the Marines, he said, I ended up getting to work for one. Being part of elections, even though I can't vote myself, being part of the organizing has been very rewarding. It's a lot about honor. It's about helping to make sure that our communities are not looked down on, and most importantly, suppressed. 4 years after the fateful day when he learned he couldn't join the Marines, his life changed again when the Obama administration announced the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program in 2012. DACA gave deportation protection and work permits to Valdivinos and hundreds of thousands of others called Dreamers, and it's been nearly a decade since. He said year after year, politicians on both sides of the aisle have said they would support legislation that gives Dreamers a chance to become legal permanent residents and eventually U.S. citizens. But efforts have been slowed down recently. He said, "We feel like professionals in limbo. Literally, my whole life has gone past. My whole youth has gone past. With me, the subject of politics. Hoping we were going to get aid or a policy and realizing the country is not focused there anymore." He says he's hoping iAmericano will re-spark conversations in Washington and across the country. And what I loved about his story wasn't just the obvious. What I loved was that he did something else, that he found a way to take charge and do something that would help him achieve what he was trying to achieve instead of just sitting back and complaining that the world hadn't done for him. So I think it's a wonderful story, and thank you for that. All right, sir, let's get ready for meditation.
I'm going to sing Sanctuary. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary for you.
So now we just take a few deep breaths. Just let the heartbeat be what you feel. Let go of all the things that were on your mind. And listen to the words I'm going to share. And just allow what you feel is right to be taken in. Today, I celebrate my authentic self, the core of my being, the gift of my life. It is through my inner being that I watch the world unveil itself to me. Like everyone, I am a unique spiritual being but my life experiences can block my divine self from shining through. When I begin to feel burdened by the memories of painful experiences, I remind myself that these layers can be peeled back. Anger, resentments can all be released. And when that happens, I can fly free, free from burdens, free from worries, free from judgment, simply free. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can hold me back from evolving as the spirit I am meant to be. As I envision myself releasing these burdens I have carried, I begin to feel lighter, freer, happier. Once my authentic self is revealed, I can see through the eyes of each person I meet and see their soul, allowing them to see mine as well. There is no better gift I can give the world than to be my true self and allow others to do the same. When I am free to be me, without fear or the need for approval, I am free to explore, discover, and express my talents and spiritual gifts. I am calm and I am ready to rest in the silence. I trust my inner compass to help me find my way to truth and to reveal my highest good. The light of God shines brightly on my life. And as I return to this moment in time, the stillness within me continues, and I am at peace. Good morning, Logan. So throughout our lives, we have all carried a lot of experiences. Every experience we have has formed some level of cellular memory in our body. Everything we experience is retained. And of course, whether those experiences directly or indirectly affected us, we're still carrying them. Over time, those layers begin to build up. And they start to weigh us down, and they start to prevent our growth. And they keep us from evolving as we need to. And they block the light within us that tries to shine through all those built-up layers. So you know how sometimes we'll say, we'll find people and we'll say things like, there's that person that has a really good heart in there somewhere. You've heard yourself say that, right? Or think it, that that person has a really good heart in there. But the truth is, we all have those layers. We all have that buildup. We are all protecting ourselves from experiencing life in the way that we need to. Eliminating these layers has to happen if we're actually ever going to let our true light shine and express ourselves in ways that allows us to bring our best self forward. Now, Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, she wrote about this concept as it related to prosperity thinking in our lives. And she said this: true prosperity is determining what our souls require in order to cause them to unfold more of God, and then harmonizing their expression with the needs of our fellow human beings so that everyone benefits, all are inspired to unfold and express more of their inner spiritual resources. Now, the concept she was getting at is that in order to unfold God, we have to tear down all the walls we build and all those heavy layers of cellular memory that continue to build. And that whole concept made me think of the butterfly in the cocoon. Now, we've talked about the butterfly in the cocoon in many ways, but we've never talked about how hard it is to get out of that cocoon. So I want you to imagine this huge butterfly coming out of layers and layers and layers of something that is 1/3 its actual size. A cocoon is only 1/3 of the size of the butterfly in it. So imagine how tightly wrapped up in there and how difficult it must be to fly free. So that's how we need to think. We need to think about how are we going to break through those layers and let them go. But butterflies aren't the only things that go through that process. Plants shed, right? Trees shed. Snakes shed. Lots of things have to get rid of their layers to be free. Our experiences during our human journey are what create the layers that consist of everything from physical and emotional pain to challenges in our life. And we carry these layers around like anchors, holding us back. Oh, I love to get up and do that, but I just can't. I'm not feeling good about this, or I'm not feeling good about that. We hear it. Do you not hear yourself? How many of you thought that when you went to get up today? I'm just saying. It's difficult some days. But we have to understand how to get rid of these layers so that we can actually reveal our best and unfold our highest good. So the question for us today is to figure out how we're going to do that. And I have many options for us. So first I want to share a story from the book Peeling the Onion. It was written by Dr. Cara DeMarco. And she tells this story in there about a workshop she attended where a police officer came. Said it was in the 80s. She was a student in college. And the police officer came to speak about burnout. And when he was talking about burnout, he introduced this concept to him. He said, we all have a bucket of slugs. He called it the bucket of slugs theory. And he explained that all human beings, no matter how well or poorly adjusted, pack around a bucket of slugs. And he said these slugs consist of whatever part of ourselves we feel is inadequate, unacceptable, or those parts of us that we simply wish were not true. Because we fear we'll be rejected or maybe even unloved because we possess these qualities. So think about that. We're carrying around this bucket of slugs, right? We have all these layers, and we're trying to unfold. Now, what happens to the bucket of slugs? I knew you'd ask. So, she explains that part of our human nature is to toss our slugs into somebody else's bucket. I know you've never done that, but if you, just so you know, I have. So what she says is we'll do little things like tell someone, oh, don't take this personally, after we've already made it so personal that there's no way around that. She said, or maybe we'll make statements that cause other people to question their own value. And then we'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I was just giving you honest feedback. The point is that us carrying the slugs, us tossing the slugs, or us taking on other people's slugs is never actually going to be healthy. And when we toss our slugs at someone else, we're only hurting us and we're hurting them. Now, it's also important to understand that if we are the receiver of someone else's slug, it isn't because we were really the target. It is because we were the closest at the moment in proximity for that person to reveal their slug. And the reason that's important to understand is because if you understand that, you can immediately turn your head to think, oh, that poor person is having a difficult time. They just threw a slug at me. But I'm not taking it in my bucket. I'm simply not going to take it on. But those situations make us start to question ourselves. They make us doubt ourselves. And they make us think that what people say to us or about us is actually true. It's our truth. But it's not. Our truth is what's inside. That's all covered up by all these other things. That's where our truth lives. So we need to figure out how that light is going to keep coming out. And one of the biggest layers we carry is anger. It is the thickest layer on all of us, anger. It's unproductive, it's destructive, it's unhealthy. And it doesn't make our heart live well. It creates a lot of heart issues for us. There's a quote in the Bhagavad Gita. It's a 700-verse Hindu scripture. And it says this: we are not punished for our anger. We are punished by our anger. We are not punished for our anger. We are punished by our anger. Sir John Templeton talks about how when we become angry, we make every attempt at trying to think that what happened in front of us in that moment is what made us angry. But that's actually never the case. Because the root of the problem lies in the emotional response of anger itself. That's where the problem lies. And he has this great analogy. He says, just like a firefighter, it's important for us to pour water on the fire and put the fire out rather than waste valuable time looking for what the cause was in that moment. He said, our goal should be to identify the root cause which led us to finding solutions that can prevent another fire or layer of angst in our lives. But when you're in the blaze, you should not look for the person who started the fire. You should put the fire out. Now think about that for a minute. All the angst that we feel, we've all had anger issues. Some of us still do. And we don't even know it until something happens. And up comes its ugly head. In our moments of anger, we can actually prevent another layer from building, maybe even shed a little bit of that layer, by understanding that anger has the seed, it can become a seed in our consciousness and actually manifests more seeds of the same. Believe this or not, if you are angry for 5 minutes, new seeds of anger are produced and deposited in the soil of your mind, and they breed more anger. So you can be angry all you want, but just know you keep planting it and replanting it, and the garden keeps growing. And Sir John explains that when conditions are favorable, that seed manifests what is called a zone of energy. And that zone of energy will continue to build anger. Now, with that in mind, it's easy to see why layers of anger have grown over the years. You can see why that builds up. If you were angry as a child, then you added a few more seeds, and then you were angry as an adult, and then the older you get, you're angry and you're still spewing more anger. But it's not about what's happening in the moment. You can tell yourself it is. Oh, no, it's the news, it's this, it's my family member, it's my friend. No, it's not that. It's far bigger than that. It was rooted a long time ago. And you keep feeding it. We keep feeding it. If we're going to unravel our consciousness and shed those layers, we need to think about all the times in the moment when we can do that. One of them is catching ourselves in the moment of anger, stopping ourselves from carrying that out, not allowing it to be 5 minutes, letting it go, releasing it, seeing ourselves releasing it. And this week in our book club, we had a participant who shared this phrase, untangled narrative. Untangled narrative. And she explained this concept of all these spaghetti noodles in our consciousness. And in order to unravel them, we have to take them out one at a time and see them untangling and letting them go. And I started to think, and I'm sure everybody had their own visual, but all I could see was this bowl of noodles all clogged up in there like the butterfly in the cocoon, a third its size, and all of them trying to find their way out. But it really got me thinking about one of the things that leads to our layers, which is labeling. We label everything. Every single thing. We label what we see. We label the people we know. We label our experiences. That was good. This is bad. I like that person. I don't like that person. That person needs help. No, this person's fine. And then we take on the labels that everybody gives us. Think about all the labels you carry around that someone else handed you. So all these layers of anger and labels and untruths, all these false narratives, have built up around ourselves to where nothing can be seen in terms of light. And I don't know about you, but I know when my light is dim. I know when I'm buried and that light is not shining as brightly as it needs to. But false narratives have to be let go of. So I want you to be thinking about all the things you've told yourself or someone's told you that you're trying to own, and whether or not that's actually really helping you. If we can eliminate labeling, we would actually eliminate the biggest problem, which is stopping ourselves in the moment to say, I don't need to say another thing about this. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to say it. I don't need to feel it. Even our titles in our work are labels. Even titles can be labels. And add that to our bucket of slugs. So there's anger, there's labels, there's the bucket of slugs coming at us. It's a lot to manage. Psychologist Deborah Rebel talks about eliminating people and things that no longer serve our health and our happiness. She says that we need to think about this like when we prep a house to sell it. She said when you get ready to sell a house, you go through the house and you clean out all the stuff that you don't need anymore before you move, right? All this and that I don't need, they're uncherished items. She said we need to think about our life in these layers in the same way. What are the uncherished items that we don't need anymore? Could we get rid of those? She also says that we should use the mantra bless and release and follow it up with a positive affirmation like break the pattern. Bless and release. Bless the situation, release it. Just get in the habit of blessing and releasing and follow it with a positive affirmation. She said that will actually help us support the release of patterns that were rooted in fear. Now, learning how we begin to shed our layers and prevent new ones from forming is actually critical to whether we're ever going to find peace in our lives. It's necessary. And we need to recognize that in every moment, we create narratives to tell the story of what just happened in this moment. And all of those narratives are absolutely your version. They are not reality. And the minute you say them and you affirm them, guess what they are now? A new layer. And if that situation made you mad, it's a heavy layer. And if the situation made you happy, it doesn't need to be a layer at all. So if you want to talk about what's great in your life, I don't think that's going to hurt you. But if you want to talk about everything that's wrong, you can just assume the layers are getting heavier and heavier, and you're getting more and more tired. And it's harder to get up. We literally experience things and can't help ourselves. And I found this video, thanks to Coley. She sent me this video a month ago, which actually prompted me to think about this talk. It was just this video that told the whole story for me. So I want to show you the video, and there's no words. I want you to just watch it, okay? I saw that video, I cried because it reminded me of how we all feel sometimes. All those layers, and those were all volunteers that happened to find that sheep and saved its life. Let's look at today's takeaway. Shedding our layers requires us to do the following. Master our daily perspective. Remember, optimism leads to achievement. Focus on solutions, not problems. Cynicism and negativity are paralyzing. Identify buckets of pain points. Release the contents of each bucket. Number 4, live a peaceful existence. Experience the freedom of being you. And before I say our affirmation, and we say our affirmation, I just want to point this out. I want you to keep that visual this whole week. And every time you start to add a layer, I want you to think of that. And how hard it will be to get yourself out if you keep covering it up. Our affirmation today is, I release what no longer serves me. Let's say that together. I release what no longer serves me. And our quote today is from Oprah Winfrey. It says, if you peel back the layers of your life, the frenzy, the noise, stillness is waiting. And that stillness is you. Let's take that in for a moment. So we pause now, and we reflect upon the importance of remembering that unfolding our highest good can only come when we release everything that's covering it up. Anger, resentment, pain points, all of it gone. And we emerge as the divine light we were meant to be. Wholeness and health become ours, and peace awaits us. Amen. I want to thank all of our volunteer chaplains, everyone who helps us with prayers. And if you have a prayer, please put it in the prayer box on your left as you walk out, or you can submit them online or give them to myself or Linda or Joanne. We're all part of the prayer team. Did I miss somebody else that's here in the prayer team? I don't think so today. Okay, and also I want to just say thank you. Thank you for all the gifts you bestow upon us, your time, your talents, your treasures. We appreciate and can't run this place without all our volunteers. All our board volunteers today are meeting again, and they do so much work for this entire spiritual center, and it takes a village. So thank you for your contributions, and let's say our affirmation together. We have faith in God as our instant, constant, abundant supply and supplier. We have faith in God to open ways when to the human sense there is no way. We have faith in God to guide us in all our ways, and our health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. Thank you, God, for your abundant good now flowing forth to meet our every need. And so it is. And thanks to our wonderful band, we're in for a real treat today.
I'd like to just continue the thank yous also. I wanted to thank the women who gave Alvon that beautiful drum box that you guys heard during the meditation. So thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
And our team also got a really amazing, generous donation, which I don't know if it was supposed to be anonymous, but too bad. Susan and Mark Scaglione. Thank you, guys. And with that, yeah, that's right. They contributed something to the music team. And with that, we're going to actually, Dave Troll is going to be in charge of a little project where we're going to build Alvon a riser back here so that you guys will actually see him a little bit better. How's that? Now, of course, Alvon's a little bit shy, so we're gonna work on that. But expect some.
Alvon gets a raise. All right. Yeah. Hey.
And of course, on a slightly less serious note, the guys and I have been, trying to come up with a band name, and I think Bucket of Slugs is now at the top of the list. There was a time in my life thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I find it when I'm struggling just to make it through another day. I've got to let it go, let it go, yeah. And this is what I have to say, yeah. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. There's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. And I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. There's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to let the Spirit run my life, and our heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. There's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. Thank you, God. Thank you so much. And now that we have you all standing, we're going to sing our peace song. Join together. And we'll close the service with a prayer of protection. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Now let's join together in saying the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is great. God bless you and have a great week. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I am not here next week. Reverend Allen is here next week for Father's Day. So be sure and come and support him. I totally forgot. I did. I was like, I forgot.
Nancy, microphone.
What?
Microphone. Your microphone.
What?
Your microphone.
It's up.
Okay, great. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Have a nice week off and safe travels.
Alba, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.